Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder again with yet another Reddit story for you, and this one is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Kicking My Friend and Her Husband Out for Eating/Wasting My Food? I, female 34, made the mistake of allowing my best friend, Mary, female 33, her husband, Carl, male 27, and 2 kids to crash at my place after showing up without being invited, since she showed up for a visit and later complained that it was too late to drive back home 5 hours. So people just show up to visit unannounced, and then they're like, you know what, it's too late to drive. I think we're just going to crash here. I hate having people over, and she has a history of being a moocher. However, we did have a great time, so in the end, I was grateful for her visit, and it was raining. I agreed to let her spend the night safely at my place. I did not go crazy with accommodations because I didn't want her to get too comfortable, so I opened the sofa bed for them and went to sleep. My boyfriend went into the bathroom near midnight and woke me up looking angry and confused. He said that Mary and her husband were having an unauthorized food orgy in our kitchen. I immediately went there and found her by the dinner table with all of our trays of sushi laying around while she was sampling it and handing it to her husband. The wastebasket was right next to them because he was taking a bite and spitting it out if he didn't like it. Oh no! My sushi sampler tray was left with just a few pieces, and most of my boyfriend's tray was thrown away by them without even asking my permission to eat it. They had also cut a brand new and store-sealed artisan cake and opened juice cartons straight from the pantry, despite me having left juice in the refrigerator in case they wanted some. They done did it. They crossed the line. They took the cake. Come back for more of this. And you know what? We're going to do one of these two because we're not even done with the story. There's mooching. And then there's this. I don't know why. There's got to be a term for this. There's got to be a term for this where they just show up and they're like, you know what? It's too late to leave. We're just going to crash here. And then, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and eat everything in your fridge. You know what? We're going to open all this brand new stuff, including the cake, you dicks. The garbage bin had lots of chewed rice. It looked like someone had chewed and sucked it for flavor tasting and then spit it out. I found this especially infuriating as I left those dishes to the back of the fridge and inside 2 tightly knotted bags for privacy. In her own home. I served them dinner. I showed her where the bread and sandwich supplies could be found in case they needed anything. I don't understand why she wanted to take more than she was given. I also found a complete box of chocolates gifted by my boyfriend, emptied out, and an entire 6-pack of Coca-Cola all gone into the garbage. Her excuse was wanting her husband to have a taste of nice things because he's not familiar with sushi, and she has always talked about the food I like to buy. I immediately kicked her out. She begged because it was 12 a.m. and said they would leave very early in the morning. I went to bed crying in anger. I woke them up at almost 4 a.m. She started clicking her tongue like a sleepy cartoon character, and her husband protested that it was too early. I pulled the sheets from him and had them leave. As clarification, they both have jobs, and shame on me for allowing her to come in because I've had to create boundaries with her multiple times because of showing up unannounced, playing the I lost my wallet game when the check comes at restaurants, and constantly trying to stiff me with bills. She called me hours later, but I didn't pick up, so she left a message. She said I spoiled her Christmas because her intent was to come visit her family living nearby, but by having to go back home, they couldn't contact family members to ask them to let them in because it was too early. So she and her husband had a fight, and they drove back, and now he only wants to spend their 10-day vacation with his own family. She sent me another message a few hours later. She said that he's still very angry because he had to drive while groggy, and that being sleepy causes him to be grouchy all day. She said he's so mad at her that he moved his stuff to another bedroom. I know when she's lying, and her tears sounded really desperate. She's begging me to call him and talk to him, but I don't want to, and I won't do it. I sent her a cash request for $500 to cover the sushi trays, the cake, and the other food, plus replacements. Also for inconveniencing me and their night over. It sounds petty, but I'm still fuming. She whined and cried, but paid for it, then said that because of me, her kids won't have Christmas. Clarification, I cited them for abuse of trust and hospitality when I kicked them out. I wouldn't have minded if they made sandwiches or took from the already open juice cartons, which were almost full, but I cannot forgive what they did and for the food waste. I already blocked them after telling her that we are no longer friends via text. She sent a friend I hardly know to talk some sense into me, and whom I told to go themselves. He says that what I did was over the top because not only did I scold, I kicked her out and announced the end of our friendship, but I made her pay me money. Am I the astronaut? Top comment here, NTA. They were chewing up your food and spitting it out in the trash at midnight in your house. I wouldn't have let them stay until 4 a.m. I would have bounced them at midnight before they started gnawing on the walls. What the fudge? They sound effing feral. Yeah, this is definitely an NTA. And whenever OP was saying, I kicked them out, I was expecting them to be gone at that point. But then she says, then I woke them up at 4 a.m. And I was like, wait, so you kicked them out, but you didn't kick them out? You gave them like a checkout time, or you just said, tomorrow morning, you're gone. So it wasn't like an immediate kicking of the outing. These people sound atrocious. I'm shocked that she paid. Shocked that she paid this $500 request. Just like, color me flabbergasted. Who else was just absolutely shocked that this mooching friend paid that? I know they both have jobs, but this behavior is not indicative of someone who has the means to or the inclination to pay that request. It's the most shocking thing of everything here. Yeah, you ruined my kid's Christmas. They came to town to visit family for the holidays, so if at this point she doesn't already have that taken care of, she wouldn't have paid it. If this was going to ruin Christmas for her kids, she would not have paid it. I do not understand showing up at somebody's house, just deciding that you're going to sleep there. And apparently she had their two kids with her the whole time too. I don't understand the fact that this friend showed up with her two kids. Yeah, the two kids crashed there too. So the kids are just there. I don't know how old they are, but this friend, Mary and Carl, and their two kids, they just drag them around from couch to couch, mooching off of people. Is that what happens? Because that's not okay. And that's probably a CPS phone call waiting to happen, right? And where were the kids this whole time that they were raiding the sushi bar in the fridge and eating the cake and downing 6 packs of Coca-Cola and living the good life here? And she did all this because she wanted him to have a taste of nicer things. Why are you friends with this person? How did you become friends with this person, OP? I have questions. Out of all this, the whole friggin' story, there's so many shocking things, but the most shocking thing by far is the fact that she actually paid that $500 request. The mental scar of seeing someone like suck the flavor out of your sushi rice and spit it into the trash can. Also the cake, by the way. Of course, they went way too flippin' far with the freaking cake, but everything else that they did, I just don't understand. And they did it all with their kids with them. This is like a non-lovable version of Cousin Eddie's family. Cousin Eddie's family is lovable, and I think at the core, like, good people. These are like the shitty 2023 version of Cousin Eddie's family. But the shitty version. Did I mention that they're shitty?